they are in, which makes it unique, should not. It's not part of this discussion. It is not necessarily something which have any effect on this discussion. But it is the characters that we bear that is something we have picked up that is not part of our natural being. We never came along with these things. That's not the natural being, the natural facial looks that we have. It's what we are. But anything that we have made or we have artificially generated for us to be, to sort of become, is what we have to know that is the problem. You start making plastic surgery to change your face. You must be ready to see the consequences that will come after that. You see the natural nature of who you are. If you tamper with it, the slightest minute or the slightest way, it will have a great impact. Some sort of bad thing it will generate something bad or sort of cause some difficulties or differences in your life that you may not be comfortable nor embrace. That is how it is in every way. So it is not necessarily me talking about your color or anything. If you touch your color, it becomes messy. There are evidence of so many people who get into plastic surgery, Botox and all that. And at the end of it, it becomes very horrible. They start having problems with their body because they tempered with the natural thing that they are already, they were born with, that it was supposed to be. That's how it is. Your true character of a natural being of what you are, you stick to that. But unfortunately, we have culture and religion and things like that creeps into us to make us different. And that has tempered with our nature, our natural being of what we are. And that is causing the problem. I will give you the points of advices that we are getting from our gods to make us what we do, and how frightening some of them can be. As far as you can see, even if you don't read the books and you are into any group or any association, it is clear that the next association which is not associated to you or linked to you, no matter how connected you might be, have your differences. So if you sort of sit and you make your discussion of trying to plot up something of protection or whichever way, you are protecting yourself from that next door associate or next door neighbor or that person out there who is not within your confine of belief or ideals. And that is something that is obvious, it's clear, it's not undeniable, it's just there. Muslims may deny or do whatever they want to do, show their peacefulness, but Christianity has nothing to do with Islam. And if that is the case, if Muslims are being advised, they are being advised against Christianity, Jewish, Buddhist, everything, everyone. The same way with Christians. If they are being advised, the same way against Muslim, against Jewish, against everything. No matter how they try to cling together, the differences are clear, the advices are clear, and if they go against it, and anything happen, they realize that their God told them, and they will have themselves to blame. It has happened so many times, so many instances. With all the religions, with their historical backgrounds, it's clear that they refusing to sort of follow through with a simple command that they believe that their book advised them to do, ended them up in a very bad situation that they were not able to deal with. So we have to really be careful about these things. They are for real, they are for real. But to my view, for us to look at it and not look at it as a problem, then we have to live with it and embrace it as it is, which I see that's what is going on. But why do we mourn? Why do we complain? This is the source. We have accepted it. Why can't we get along with it? But we mourn, we complain, and we sort of refuse to accept that this is where the issue is. This is where the problem is. If we begin to realize where the problem is, acknowledge it, and realize that this is it, then we are heading towards a place of where peace will be. We might not necessarily change our identity or what we look like or our natural existence of any kind of what we are. We stay as we are, but we will have a common understanding, and that will be the best of our ideals. It will be unchangeable. It will not have an ending. Neither will it have a sort of a particular beginning. It will be some standard life that it can't be rejected nor debated in any grounds. Nobody will have any rejection to it, because it is naturally developed in us. That is what I want to look at. That is what I want you to see, that it is possible. It is possible if we're able to do away with the rubbish. If we're able to do away with the rubbish, because you can live with yourself in all these things, and we have to be honest about it. It is not something which you do it in a secret way, and trying to, live a life where either you are paying back something or somebody's paying back to you. Every time you are living in some sort of animosity, it isn't an ideal thing for us all to sort of find ourselves. It's not a good state to find ourselves, and we cannot equate evil with God. That's a two different thing. Because if we sort of design or define God as a good, a force for good, we cannot then equate him with our continuous negative approach to things, be equated to the force of good. Something which is the force of evil cannot be equated with the force of good. It's I don't know how. It's pathetic. It's unthinkable. It's not something that should be considered in any way of our lives. We exist for a long time, and this issue also have existed for a very long time in our life. Evil and spirit things has been there from generation to generation, and we have to consider what we see as the source of life, source of all power and life. We shouldn't be mistaking it with anything else, and that has been the case. That's the mistake that we have been doing. And I think the common sense should speak to us well, which we do have a lot of common sense, but so a few of the apples among us cannot really, think along the line of the effort of which humanity have to do to eradicate evil for good. And I don't know if we think it's impossible, but I think it is possible, because it's not about anything outside, it's us. Unless there is aliens among us which stand for that, it's also possible, and disguise themselves among us, and they do everything to sort of make things more worse by encouraging some sort of disturbances, encouraging revolts, encouraging demonstrations and all that to stand against anything that is good. That is possible. So we have to look into all these things and see what solution that is best for us. The system is ours. If we create it badly, we are bound to face the problems. We have to stand up to these things. It is an issue which we have to crack down. We have to stand up to it. We don't have to use the idea of God as a means of scaring away the very problems that we have to deal with. It's like bringing a child up, and eventually you have to work and leave that child alone in that house, and there won't be anyone to take care of the child. And if you have planted into the child's head, or you have sort of instilled into the child's head the idea of God, then you know that you have put the child in the state of thinking there is an invisible God, ghost or invisible spirit out there who's watching him. And so it gives you a sense of safe idea, or safe, control or guide on that child, and that child will not mess things up or will not do anything that's stupid that you wouldn't want that child to do. So wherever you are, wherever you go, you leave the child, you feel the child is okay. And that strategy may work for children, and in some level, when the child grow up, it will be your responsibility to point to that child that is now a grown-up person, that it was just a method that you were using to bring him up or to bring her up. It is your responsibility to point to that child that, hey, those ways or those things I was telling you, they are not really true. I had to say those things to keep you right. And you can use the same method for your children. You have to release that child from that captive state that you put him into, or you put her into, that she lived her life thinking someone was watching over her head. Free her from that state. She's old now, she has to be free and independent to move on with her life. But we normally don't do that. We leave it as it is. If the child discovers it, so be it. If he doesn't discover it, okay. But that is what the problem. This is the issue. Someone living all her life or his life thinking that the image he saw about